Hey guys, what is going on? This is Travis and welcome back to Coffee, Computers, and More. And while I am a big fan of my Nespresso Inicia espresso maker, a device I've been using for the better part of a decade, I'm not a big fan of Nestle's actual Nespresso pod prices. So if you buy the Nespresso official pods, you're gonna pay about 75 cents to $1 or more per pod or per serving. So I decided to look online and there are a ton of places where you can buy Nespresso compatible pods from, but I did find a couple places locally and I did make some purchases, and today on the channel we're gonna talk about what we got. So if you have a TJ Maxx or a Home Goods or a Marshalls nearby, go check their coffee section. They've usually got a good selection of imported foods and beverages and so on, and that's where I found today's selection. So today on the channel, the idea is to try to find some Nespresso compatible pods that'll work in the machine, that produce a good cup of espresso, and run less than 50 cents per serving, and I think we did just that. So up first we have some Gran Caffe Garibaldi Gusto Oro. Now my Italian is horrible, but I will tell you this, these are delicious pods and we're gonna do a taste test on them. And at $3.99 for 10 servings, you get yourself a serving of espresso for 39 cents. Obviously you can make it double or triple, however you wanna do it, or use it as a base for mixing in some sort of a coffee beverage. Now, Gran Caffe Garibaldi makes a variety of different types and styles, and I'm going to show you guys how to look for the different roast levels on these when you buy them, because you might grab one and think you're getting something lighter, but you grab something darker. It's pretty easy to figure out. Even though the box comes printed in multiple languages, we will show you the most information that you need. The second that we're going to test is Must or Moussed Espresso Italiano Cremoso. And all these are going to be brewed up at the espresso size, which is 1 ounce or I think 30 milliliters maybe. And again, Must or Mousse, we'll just call it Must. This brand also has a variety of different roasts that you can get in styles and types. You pretty much pick out whatever you want for your palate, and they also have their own intensity rating. My favorite one so far, and probably the best deal, 30 pods for $9.99 is Saquella Caffe Intenso Espresso Forte. Again, they make a variety of different roast levels that you can get, and what's really cool about it is on the back they've got this little flavor profile wheel to tell you what the espresso is going to taste like. So if you're not a fan of things that are spicy or toasted nutty or chocolate, you probably don't want to get these pods, but maybe you want something that's a bit more fruity or floral. Just grab whatever pod fits your palate and you're not going to go home disappointed. This also uses a mix of Robusta and Arabica beans, and they also tell you the origin point of the espresso, which is Africa and South America. It takes a little while to decode the box because these come in multiple languages for export. But again, 10 bucks for 30, and if you buy the bigger boxes at a place like TJ Maxx or Home Goods, or Marshalls, you're gonna get yourself an even better deal in the larger boxes. So why don't we go ahead and get started? Let's just brew them up, and we're gonna start off with the Gran Caffe Garibaldi Gusto Oro. And we'll take you through the intensity levels real quick, and then we'll let you know how they are. Now, just to let you know, all the following can also be found on Amazon, so you can definitely check out the variety, but I just wanted to grab them in the store. So, first of all, the Saquella Caffe, the strength levels right here, and they're giving like a scale of 0 to 5 beans. This has 5 beans, so it's probably gonna be the most intense. It's even called Intenso, and my Italian's not good, but that tells me that probably means intense. Then on the back, like I mentioned before, they do have the flavor profile and the different origin point of the beans and so on. And they also tell you how much water to use when you brew each one. And on your Nespresso maker, you can preset the amount of water that comes out of it. So you can use it ideally for these beverages like a latte or cappuccino, ristretto, or espresso. And today we're going to be doing the espresso amount. Now on the Garibaldi Gusto Oro, again, this is just one of a plethora of varieties that Garibaldi actually sells. They do an intensity level that goes from 0 to 10. It's probably a little hard to see, but this goes up to level 8. And so you can see, there you go, just exactly how intense that is. So if you want it to not be quite as strong, you can go down a little bit. And maybe you're somebody who is new to espressos, definitely take yourself a lower number to start, and you might notice some differences in the flavor profile. And then finally, the Must Cremoso. This one does a 0 to 8 for its scale of intensity. This is 6 out of 8. And we're gonna brew this one up also with the espresso size. Okay, so let's go ahead and brew up the first one, the Gusto Oro, and we'll let you guys know how it is. I'll tell you about the flavor profile, and we will continue with the next two. So I headed over to the Garibaldi website, and it's €3.79, if that's what they use in euro, for 10. So I paid $3.99 US dollars, €3.79 euro. So there really isn't much of a difference if you order these from the Garibaldi website. Now, I don't know about deliveries to the USA. What I can say is if you go on Amazon and eBay and you go to, like I said, your local TJ Maxx, you'll be able to find it. So we went ahead and brewed it up, and just real quick, what do they say about the flavor profile of this espresso on the website? Washed Central American Arabica coffee shows pleasant fruity notes with sweet undertones of roasted almonds and honey. A touch of East African Robusta enhances its aromatic intensity and full flavor. All right, let's try it. Yeah, definitely detecting the almond kind of overtones of it. A little bit sweet on the back end, very intense. You can definitely tell it's there. But again, a properly roasted espresso, it's going to be intense, it's going to be bold, it's going to be bitter, very much like a dark chocolate, but it's not going to be burned like charcoal, okay? It's not going to taste ashy and so on. And your palate will get used to that as you drink more of these espressos. It's got a nice little crema on top of it, a nice little foam going on there. And when I brew one of the other varieties, the Cremoso, we're going to actually brew that in a clear measuring cup so you can see what it looks like. All right, let's try another sip. Very smooth, very crisp, it's delicious. And it does build in its bitterness towards the back end, just keep that in mind. But again, if you're a fan of dark chocolate, you really can't go wrong. This would be a great base for like a cafe mocha or even a latte for that matter. All right, let's go and move on to our second variety. For the Must Cremosa, and look at that, isn't that awesome? It's got a nice crema up on the top there, it looks nice and smooth. For this one over on Amazon, it says a soft and round blend with an enveloping and persistent aroma, and that's basically it. So again, this is 6 out of 8 or 6 out of 10 for its intensity level, the smell. Not quite as intense as the Garibaldi that we just had before, but again, it's a different variety, it's a different type, so let's go and give it a try. So it's much richer. It's much more reserved in the intensity of it. It's not quite as bitter, much more creamy. You definitely notice that creaminess in the texture of it while you're drinking it. By the way, I do brew these up with filtered water, and I do have a little piece of bread between each one of these to kind of cleanse the palate, so I'm not bringing any of the flavor profile over from one coffee to the next. Very delicious. Nice tanginess, kind of chocolatey on the back end. This would be one where you want to get into espresso and try something that's not going to just scare you away. This would be a good starter espresso. Again, a wonderful base for something like a latte, a mocha latte, or a caramel latte, maybe a vanilla latte for that matter. Awesome, awesome, high quality. And when I was looking up the company, they really do put a lot into this particular brand of espresso pod that they make up, and it says that it does have a 24-month shelf life, which is pretty cool. They nitrogen purge the capsules, so you're going to get the freshest coffee experience you can. Price-wise, I noticed when I went on Amazon, they're $3.99 for 10, just like what I paid locally. And obviously, as you go up in price for the boxes, they do get a little bit cheaper. All right, and we are down to our final espresso, coming in at roughly 30 cents per serving, the budget champion, the Saquella Caffe Intenso Espresso Forte. And I'm down to my last one. I did notice over on Amazon you can order these, and again, it's about the same price, but you just end up getting yourself a bigger box than the box of 30 that I have right here. All right, let's go and try it and see how it is. We are looking for spicy, toasted nuts, and chocolate. And it does weigh in over on the dark scale as being a little more intense. All right, here we go. So it's much milder than the Garibaldi. If you're somebody that really likes that dark chocolate experience, you really want that kind of bitterness, go for the Garibaldi. If you want something a little bit creamier, go for the Cremoso Must like we mentioned before. And this one's just pretty much right there in the middle between those two. It's not real intense, but at the same time, it's not very weak. Let's take a couple more sips here. That spice is there. That spice is definitely there. It kind of has that almost like a gingery kind of feel to it. Definitely chocolatey. Toasted nuts, you know, if it's gonna be kind of toasted, they're gonna taste a little bit like peanuts or almonds, and it's definitely there too. So I would just say, again, the budget winner, we're gonna go with the Saquella Caffe Intenso Espresso Forte. This is gonna be my go-to, and I can get this pretty much on a regular basis locally. So I'm gonna buy a couple more boxes of it. In fact, they were selling some boxes of like 70 to 90 over there at Marshall's, and so I might have to pick some of those up. So once you get past the high investment price of the Nespresso, infrastructure, ecosystem, whatever you want to call it, when you get the coffee maker itself, we're talking like, those can run anywhere between $80 and $120 depending on when you get them, if you find them on sale and so on. They usually include 15 to 20 free pods, which is kind of nice because you get a good variety. I do recommend that you do register with the Nespresso website though if you get an Nespresso coffee maker, just because there's a ton of varieties that they offer, and sometimes they even have Cafe Cubano, actual Cuban imported coffee, which, as you know, it's really hard to get goods imported legally into the United States, but a couple times a year or once every couple of years, they do offer some authentic Cuban coffee, which is really cool. So anyway, this is Travis. Thanks for watching my budget shootout of these 3 different types of Nespresso pods. Thanks for watching Coffee, Computers, and More. Guys, I want you to like and subscribe. Make sure you mash that bell. We have a lot more reviews coming your way. And make sure you guys stay tuned. So I want you to have fun. I want you to be safe. Drink lots and lots of espresso. And as you know, we will talk to you soon. All right, take care and have a good one. Bye-bye.